Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 3 Under Par podcast. This is a golf podcast where
Little White Ball is life.
I'm your host, Scotty T, and I'm joined by my co-host, T-Bone. How you doing, my friend?
Yo, what's going on?
T-Bone, how's the weekend?
It was good. There was not a lot of golf. Still had the Masters hangover. I actually did a little road trip to Port A and packed the clubs, and too windy near the coast. Decided to just chill a little bit and watch a little bit of golf, but overall still on that Masters hangover. So that's where we're at. How about you?
Yeah, man, it was a good weekend, busy weekend, but when are things not ever busy? But no, it was good. I got to hit the range actually on Sunday at Memorial Park. So yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful weekend here in Houston. So I was glad I was able to squeak out at least that. But all in all, good. Watched a little bit of golf. To your point, there's definitely a little bit of a Masters hangover. Jon Rahm comes in, Masters champion, still plays the RBC Heritage though this weekend. So honestly, big shouts to Jon Rahm for still wanting to compete.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find that quote real quick. He said, it did cross my mind, but I made a commitment earlier in the year and I wanted to honor that commitment about playing. And then he also said, I put myself in the shoes of not only spectators, but the kids as well. If I was one of the kids, I would want to see the recent Masters champion play, good or bad, just want to be there. Like, that's bad respect for Jon Rahm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it makes me a little worried about Rory's perception now and what people are going to think of him. And even if you go back to the Full Swing episodes, there's a part, I think it's the last episode, and they talk about the new schedule, designated required events, and Rory said something like, hey, if we're all, he's like, if I'm willing to do this, like, you guys all should be willing to play in all these designated events. It came off a little cocky then, and now that he's not backing it up, and he had time to rest on Saturday and Sunday of the Masters, so it's not the best look. I don't know if they said why he decided not to play. I don't know if something else happened, but yeah, not only mad respect to Rahm for playing, but even getting in the booth. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he's in there chopping it up with Jim Nantz.
Yeah, I thought it was also funny how he was like, yeah, I try to take a day off, and on my off days, I just end up chipping or putting or something. So I think that's kind of rare when you see pro golfers saying that they like actually are addicted and love golf. I feel like a lot of them are just like, eh. So I think that's always cool to see. So yeah, but definitely good things to see from Rob.
No, for sure. And so did you see how much money Rory gave up by not playing this week? $3 million from the PIP? Are you kidding me? That's insane. That shows how like he's willing to give up $3 million. Like, I'll take that. That's fine. But unbelievable, dude. And to your point, that is kind of a bad look, how he's preaching how important these elevated events are, how they have completely revamped the schedule. Because I'm pretty sure he's the chairman or president, whatever it is, of the players committee for PGA Tour relations. And he doesn't show up. Not great. But look, I don't think that makes us view Rory any less. But on the flip side, Jon Rahm is gaining a lot of fans right now.
Yep. And in Rory's defense, let's not do this next year. I love the Heritage, RBC Heritage. I love Hilton Head, but a designated event after Augusta just doesn't feel right. I think we need to throw something in there, give the guys a little time off, because, like, even as a fan, I'm kind of tired of golf after the Masters. So let's work on the schedule a little bit and maybe transitioning the schedules. Got some big news for the Houston Open.
Man, that's right. Big news for the Houston Open. I thought we were going to get to that a little bit later in the episode.
We can give a little teaser.
Okay, yeah, that's the teaser.
Yeah, I
Stay
guess we
tuned to
need to
find
finish
out.
the tournament.
But
Uh,
yeah, I mean, because dude, it was in a playoff. We had Matthew Fitzpatrick, my boy, Matty Fitz against our other boy, Mr. Jordan Spieth. I mean, Jordan Spieth, who's not a fan of him, right? I would say he's the fan favorite of the 300 par pod. Matt Fitzpatrick is just a favorite of mine, but
yeah.
it went into a playoff, pretty electric. I mean, those guys were trading blows. Went down to the final hole, then it went to extra holes, and then Matt Fitzpatrick just laid his nuts on the table, hitting that 9 iron on 18, and just hit it to what 3 inches or whatever it was. Comes out with the victory. It was considering I didn't watch much golf this weekend. That was really cool to watch, and it made me want to tune in.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had a playoff in a while, and it almost felt like you saw the ending coming. I didn't start watching the tournament until the playoff, and the first playoff hole he hits 9 iron from some ridiculous yardage, lands right by the pin. He was walking after it, and it rolls to the back. They go play 17, come back to 18, and he's about 8 yards further back. And the caddy's like, same club, same club. And same 9 iron. You saw him like look into the camera at one point. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was like, this is going to be good. And I wanted it to go in so bad. That was an awesome shot, but they're saying that's got to be he's got to like frame that club up on the wall someday because that was the 9 iron he hit into the green on 72nd hole of the U.S. Open from the bunkers.
Mm.
So that's a special club for Matt Fitzpatrick, and also what everyone probably saw. The guy loves this tournament, which is really cool. He's got a head cover of the lighthouse that he keeps on his driver year round. Grew up going on family vacations, and I think he always said the majors and the RBC are top of the list for me. So good to see him win. I was definitely, I think we've talked about Spieth being a favorite on this podcast. Was rooting for Spieth. Good to see him play well. He played insane. And I think he shot 66, 66 on the weekend and didn't get the W, which is pretty wild. So I think he's trending in the right direction, and it was a great finish.
No doubt. Yeah, you see the pictures of Matt Fitzpatrick and the family right there. Of course, they surface. CBS is ready for that. Whenever they see that he's in the mix, they're ready. They're prepared. Jim Nance is just going to milk every ounce of
Yeah.
drama or connection. It's like, man, did you know this grandfather's third cousin, twice removed, once played in Scotland one time? But it just makes it sound awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, but looking across the leaderboard, though, you had Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, Sahith Theegala, Emiliano Grillo, Brian Harmon, even down a little bit. Scheffler finished T11. Ricky Fowler back in the mix at T15. Sam Burns, John Rahm again. How about Jimmy Walker? Jimmy Walker having the 36-hole lead. It reminded me, T-Bone, I think I might bring a new segment to the pod next week because it's going to require a little bit of research on my end. Should I tease it? Okay, I'll tease
Yeah.
it. I think
Yeah.
we're going, I want to bring a segment to the pod called What Happened to That Guy? And Jimmy Walker, I think, would qualify as What Happened to That Guy? And
Yeah.
again, I got to do some prep work a little bit more, but Jimmy Walker, Baylor guy, was on tour for a long time. Just one of those guys that was just always had his car, but never competing, and then just really took it to the next level. Played on a couple of Ryder Cups teams. He won the PGA Championship, and then he got Lyme's disease. And he last year, I didn't realize he took the whole year off. He didn't even play. The PGA champion in the simulate to the Masters gets an exemption for life. And he didn't even play in the PGA last year. That's why you still see John Daly out there in his cart blasting cigs because he's a former PGA champion.
I didn't know that
But
actually.
yeah, so he didn't even play last year. He hung it up, and like frankly, I think was ready to retire from golf. Kids are getting a little bit older, that junior high, late mid to late teenager age, if I'm not mistaken. And so, but he decided to commit this year to golf again, and so he's back in the mix. But yeah, like I mean, I think we know who, of course, our number one person would be for what happened to that guy. It's got to be AK, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that's a good segment. I think this could be not only that guy, but like that Like, whatever happened to like Adams Golf? We could do a few different things with this, like
Yeah.
equipment, shoes, apparel, players. I like
Sorry.
this.
What happened to the Ben Hogan Golf Company
Hogan.
from a couple of years ago?
Uh,
Oh man, that was a big whip on my part. But
that was
no,
good.
that's I mean, if we did that, then we can go into like the whole why did Nike suspend making their golf clubs? This could turn into a
Yeah,
golf business podcast
yeah.
before we know it.
This would be
But
great.
yeah,
Um,
but I guess where
on
I'm
the
going with
Jimmy
all that
Walker,
is
on the Jimmy Walker
yeah,
subject, he is a great Instagram follow, by the way. The
yeah,
guy looks like he has just the coolest life. He has the most insane barbecue cooking equipment ever, and he just drinks wine and grills these like amazing steaks, lamb chops, exotic meats. It's a good follow. So, um,
he was down to Bernie, I think, right? I
yeah, lives out of Bernie, something like that. But he does some cool stuff off the golf course, so he's a good follow.
think his wife is like PJ Tour, like wives travel channel or Instagram account too. Pretty good follow as well. So
Yep.
there you go. Plugs for the Walker family.
They
I
need
didn't
it. Yeah.
see I didn't see this going in that direction, but here we are. But I guess point is where I was going with that, especially considering it was the week after the Masters. It was still a very solid leaderboard. And if you've never been down the Hilton Head, highly recommend it. That place is so awesome. RBC, I don't know if RBC just doesn't, it's not a great title, a good title sponsor, but like they're to come up with a jazzier name on a course that's that cool in an area that is that awesome. It could really be something, but clearly it's one of the players' favorite stops. And it
Yeah.
also helps it's close to Augusta National.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. You're gonna upset one of our loyal listeners who's a RBC employee.
Oh,
That's
yeah. I just
neither here
realized
nor
that.
there, but
Look, it's a great company. And after hearing to talking with them, it is. But it's not a great title sponsor for a golf tournament.
yeah,
Like if
I
you
don't.
call it the Lighthouse Open, like that would be way cooler.
Yeah, I mean, what tournament doesn't have a sponsor these days? So
Presented by I don't know the Heritage Lighthouse presented by RBC, but I know that look, I'm not. I'm spitballing on the fly
yeah,
here.
okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, the Cadence Bank Houston Open isn't ideal either. I mean, what
This,
titles? Yeah, I mean, it's
who did do a good job with it is Colonial. Nobody knows who their title
yeah.
sponsor is every single year. One year it was Dean and DeLuca. It was
I remember that. Dean
it
and
was the like Colonial Dean and DeLuca Championship or something like that, but you know it as Colonial. That
yeah,
is good marketing. That is good branding.
yeah. No, there's been some horrible ones now that I think about it. Um, yeah, and
Man,
they
we
just
should do
they,
that for a top five segment next week, like worst title sponsor names. And to
that'd be good.
preface, it's not talking bad about any companies or anything like that, because obviously, if you're a company that has the money to sponsor a PGA Tour tournament, you've done a lot of things right to get to that point. But like, sorry, Dean and DeLuca, that's just not a great name for a golf tournament.
Remember the Justin Timberlake Shriners Hospital for Children's Open? That was the name of a tournament back in the day. How good was that?
I'll tell you what, the Shriners has done a good job branding their tournament. I mean, saying
Yeah.
you know who kind of struggled with it, but should not have, in my opinion, was the FedEx St. Jude Classic. Like, I never know if
Yeah.
it's the FedEx, is it the St. Jude, but then FedEx is the FedEx Cup. I don't like. I know FedEx is spending a shit ton of money with the PJ Tour, so they can kind of get whatever they want. But I was just like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. You know what's a cool sponsor? It's John Deere Classic. It rolls
Oh
off the
man,
tongue. You know what it is. You almost don't even think of it as a sponsor. It almost feels like it's the name of the course, John Deere. I don't know.
it
That
just
one,
sounds right,
yeah, John Deere Classic.
man. Well, that was great. Who would have thought that we would go off on this tangent? But clearly, there's a lot to talk about. But once again, congratulations to Matthew Fitzpatrick, Jordan Spieth. I will say it was interesting watching the two of them go head to head on the playoff because they're so different. You got Spieth who's like doing this, and then you got Greller trying to calm him down, be like, just hit this club. And then like as soon as he hits, 5 seconds later, Matthew Fitzpatrick is hitting his club
Yeah.
They could not be more polar opposites, in my opinion.
Yeah. That was, I do think we need to acknowledge it was a brutal loss for Jordan. I don't know how that putt missed on the first playoff hole.
Definitely.
I thought it felt like he let those two get away, and it was almost like you knew he was going to lose. But um, good week from Jordan. I think he's trending in the right direction. I think he's going to contend in big tournaments and majors this year. And as always, we're here for the ride. It's going to be
For the
fun.
ride, remember the PGA Championship is less than a month away, and that is the fourth leg of the career Grand Slam that Mr. Spieth needs, and he is, to your point, hashtag trending. Big Spieth guys, Team Spieth. So
Who do you think will do better, Spieth in the PGA Championship? Actually, who do we think will complete the career Grand Slam first, Spieth or Rory?
Spieth, I think Spieth does. Honestly, I've said it a lot, and I'll say it again. Rory just has those mental scars at Augusta National. There's just something about the grounds. I think when he steps on there, it just it doesn't work. And Brando Chambly and guys like that have done a lot of analysis and a lot of breakdown of why he thinks that is. Ultimately, and I know it sounds really simple, he just doesn't play good golf. He just doesn't play good golf, whether it be the putting's off, the iron game's off, he's spraying it everywhere. Something is wrong just enough to where he can't win out there. Jordan's got a better chance at the PGA. A, there's less pressure so far. And B, it changes courses every year. I think that actually plays in the Jordan's advantage.
Yeah,
What do you
100%.
think?
I think Spieth, and I think it's the pressure. And I think it's the pressure because it's the most hyped golf tournament in the world, and the fact that he's blown it in the past, been so close so many times, and also played so bad so many times. It's just a massive story every year at the Masters, and it makes it that much more difficult. Where the PGA Championship, you're like, oh yeah, I guess that Spieth needs that, right? And this is like Rory competing or completing the career Grand Slam at Augusta, is the number one storyline every single year. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I don't care how good you are. So
Yeah,
I think it'll be Spieth for sure. Um, yeah, just purely due to pressure.
I love it. That's a good question. It's a good question. Maybe we should ask that on the pod or do a Twitter poll. Who's going to complete the career Grand Slam first? Because nobody else is one leg away. I mean, you got Brooks, he's a couple away. Morikawa's a couple away, but I mean, we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. Yeah, the Masters and the British Show. I mean, they're all hard to get though. Let's be real. Like they're all
yeah,
very difficult.
yeah.
Um. So anyway, I think that moves us on here, T-Bone. Unless there's anything else. Houston
No,
Open. It announced a little golf gossip. We got a couple of golf gossips here. So T-Bone, I'll take the first one and we'll bounce off. And then I know you got to talk about the second one. But for number two, PJ Tour announced some new tentative schedule changes for next year. And there's been a lot of rumors about where the Houston Open is going to land. And so it was announced last week that the Houston Open will be moving back to the spring. The tournament is announced for April 12th. Now, the Houston Open did not reveal when the tournament, well, I'm sorry, it was announced on April 12th. It does not reveal when the tournament will be played in 24, but it is reported, or the rumor mill is saying that it could be the new home of the match play, which would take place in the last week of March. What are your thoughts?
I think that'd be awesome. I think that's best case scenario. I talked about in past episodes. I don't know if I see Memorial Park as the best match play course. I think, I mean, I guess 16 and 17 are great. I think you can move the tee boxes up on 17. It can become a drivable par four, but 18 is kind of But overall, that's best case scenario. They've been wanting to get this in the spring ever since they moved to Memorial Park, and it's a total game changer. I think they said it won't be an elevated event, but still just moving it to spring, they're going to get that much better players, which is awesome. But some of the drama here, golf gossip, is that apparently Jim Crane played in a live golf pro-am, and there were reports that he was potentially leveraging the Houston Open as a live tournament in the future, and he wasn't. And if the PGA Tour didn't let them move to the spring, he was going to make it a live golf tournament. I don't know how much truth is behind that, but that was something that I looked into and saw. But match play or not, elevated event or not, the spring matters the most. And we always got such great, great players before the Masters. So hopefully we can get something similar to that like we've had in the past. So big news. I'm also I don't know if this has been the report about what they're going to do for this year. Are they going to have a tournament, like two tournaments within like 6 months? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think they're on the list for 23 at this moment in time. So we would skip the fall and then we played in 2024. But yeah, so I'm on golfweek.usa today. So according to USA Golf Week sources, spoke under condition of anonymity. I can never say that word. Anonymity? Anonymity. Like Finding Nemo here. But Houston wasn't listed as the preliminary fall schedule because the tournament organizers didn't want to hold two events within a span of 5 months. So let's see. Okay, so Crane is an investor of Escalante Golf, which staged two live events last year in the inaugural schedule. Yeah, without reading too much into it, pretty much yes. He, according to the sources, he did power play the PGA Tour. And look, Houston's a big market. People forget that Houston is the fourth largest city in the world. It is a massive market for the PGA Tour, and they really lucked out with Shell being such a great title sponsor for a very long time. At one point, Shell was the second longest title sponsor for the PGA Tour, behind the Honda Classic, I believe. So it was reliable, and especially I think whenever they moved it to the week before the Masters, they got a lot of top players. They moved it to the Golf Club of Houston, or Redstone formerly. The Houston Open's been searching for its identity since, and interesting for Crane to play it this way, but clearly it's worked for him. And honestly, I think it puts the Houston Open back in the conversation, hosting a unique tournament as well in the match play. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Um, it was a great step getting it back to Memorial Park. Now back in the spring, we're
Things
rolling.
are aligning.
Yep.
So T-Bone, what else you have for golf gossip?
Speaking of rolling, um, Broncos country, let's ride. This poor guy can't catch a break. All over social media today, there were reports or pictures that Russell Wilson drove his golf cart at Arrowhead Golf Club or Country Club into a bunker. Um, it's a little light on golf gossip this week, but I thought that was a good one. And man, it's just so fitting for this guy. He can't do anything right now. And I feel like social media just had a field day with it. So that one was pretty good. And then another thing, I guess this kind of falls under golf gossip, um, that I wanted to touch on was Golf Digest did a report of the decline in visors on the golf course. I
Really?
don't know if you saw that, but I
No.
would say this podcast is very visor friendly. I wouldn't say predominantly visors, but we rock the high crown tour visors. Get them out. Scotty T's got at least 8 handies somewhere.
I
Um,
they are in my room next door. Not here. I had
well,
about three lying across right here next to me. You can't see in the frame here, but I took them to my room. But
nice.
dang, I didn't
Yeah,
know that, or I would have worn mine. Team
I
Visor,
posted
baby.
that on. I posted that your picture of the tour visor mecca on our Insta page back in the day. I might have to repost that, but I don't know. It makes me want to fully invest in the visor game these days because I'm not gonna lie. I love hats. I love a good roper. Love a good bucket hat. Love hats, but it is kind of sad to see the tour visor slowly fading away. But at the same time, it also makes it that much better. So
Right.
I think we'll be all right.
Well, the reason why I've kind of slowed down on my visor game a little bit, T-Bone, It's because I don't have much protecting my my
Oh
head
man,
anymore. That's
that's a
why I'm
great
not wearing
protection.
the visors.
Oh man, you hate to see that.
I know. I've gone full opposite
I
direction.
hate
I'm
to,
team bucket hat now.
man, hate to expose you like that live on the
I
air, but
mean, I exposed myself here. Look, I'm glad I still have some hair at the
yeah,
moment, but hey, if you're listening to us, that's why you go subscribe to the YouTube channel so I can you can see how my hair is slowly falling out. But no,
Rogaine, we're looking for a sponsor.
we could talk about this offline if we want.
Oh shit.
But no, that's it. I do have a ton of visors and I will break them out, especially I think a couple weeks last week I wore the Masters visor on the pod.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Um,
don't worry.
but yeah,
I still got them.
yeah.
But
Uh, but yeah, there's still a few guys out there. Keith Mitchell's been
yep,
rocking the terry cloth visor in particular, and I think actually officially partnered with Imperial, which is the
good.
go-to tour visor, as you can see here.
Hmm.
But Bo Hostler, Bubba, if you still want to include him. Um,
Dude,
but yeah,
how fresh did Freddie Couples look back in the day with the oversized cotton t-shirts and the visor? Woo, that was so awesome.
he would rock like the Lynx visor,
Yes.
which was awesome.
When he's in the players championship or whatever, right? It just says links. It's like, I don't
Yeah,
think you're playing links, bro.
pleated khakis, so good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Man, that's great. Well, T-Bone, let's transition to top five here and then we'll get out of here. So top five this week, everybody. We're going to our top five annoyances on the golf course. What makes you upset? What gets under your skin? We're here to give our opinion on the top five reasons why things that irk us on the golf course. And I do want to clarify too, because I was talking to somebody about this in class. This is a snake draft because he went back and listened to the top five public golf courses. He was like, I can't believe you didn't pick Gus Wortham. And I'm like, dude, it's a snake draft. And after like 5 minutes going back and forth, he was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, of course I'm not like blowing off Gus like that. Come on now.
yeah. Also, wouldn't snake draft mean like one, two, two, whatever? I've
Oh
also
yeah,
gotten
we're
beat
going
down.
back and forth. Sorry, yeah.
The other thing I need to clarify, it's a draft because I've heard people saying, "How do y'all not pick the same things?" I'm like, it's a draft.
It's a
Listen,
draft.
yeah. So, I appreciate all the concerns out there, but yes, it is a draft. It goes back and forth. Scotty T takes something I therefore can't draft.
And so on and so on. But
Yeah.
so these are our top five things that irk us on the golf course. We skipped last week, so who's going first? I don't remember. I think it's you.
I think it is me.
Okay,
Yeah, I think you picked number 12 at Augusta,
that's right.
the
Yep.
first pick. All right. Number one pick. This has got to be the number one on any list. Slow play. It ruins golf. Everyone hates it. It's the reason golf sucks. Patrick Cantlay made headlines for his slow play. It's got to be slow play. There's been times we've all been on the course where we literally canceled the round to go in because it's too slow. Everyone's been there. It's got to be number one.
I'm trying not to be too facetious and be slow on my response. See what I did there? Okay.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's the worst. It sucks. I'd rather go inside and drink if I'm playing in a slow
Yep.
round of golf. So my number one T-bone, I think I'm gonna have to go with walking in people's lines. Just that really does bother me. Look, mistakes happen, right? So like whatever, it's no big deal. And especially if you're playing on pure greens, it's like it's just kind of the thought behind it too. It's just I don't like it. I'm a big putter guy because I suck with my iron play and I spray the driver. So like I got to make putts, and so that really bothers me. Walking in people's
Yep.
lines. That's also a
Yep.
sign if you walk in people's lines, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. No, I feel you. If it's it doesn't bother me as much. Maybe it's because I just play with not the best golfers all the time. I don't know. Or not only not the best golfers, I play shitty greens. So
Yeah.
It is what it is for me. To kind of continue on that topic, I'm going to go aerated greens.
Oh, that's just
Aerated
it's
greens.
gross. Man, I should have done that first. Oh, what a
Yeah,
whiff.
aerated greens. It's I don't even want to play. It's worse if they don't tell you after you pay. Um, when a putt is literally lined up with the hole and it's got 80 holes in it. I mean, they should just close the course, or tell you before you pay, because that's not fun for anybody. Putting's hard enough. That ruins golf. Aerated greens number two.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. Man, yeah, I think your list is going to be better than mine. I think you thought about it a little bit more than I did, perhaps. But, I'm kind of going with the walking people's lines. I'm going to go with cars that are driving along the highway and honking in your backswing. Because, look, honestly, if people are talking my backswing, I don't care that much. Like, I played long enough now where it doesn't really phase me that much. But when there's like a sudden noise, like a ladder drops, or especially as those cars that are driving by the highway and lay on the horn and be like, "Hey, you suck," or so something like that. That just I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you're just a douchebag.
Yeah. Um, I always think of Bear Creek back in the day, where you
Yeah,
played like eight eight of the 18 holes along the Clay Road or whatever, or Eldridge or whatever it was.
Highway 6.
No, Highway 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that was no fun. Um, but I think I'm gonna, yeah, with all due respect, I think I'm gonna dust you this this top five.
we'll see.
I'm gonna go number three, cart path only. Not as bad as aerated greens, not as bad as slow play. When there is cart path only, it's probably wet. So you got to bring the towel, you got to put the tee in the ground, propped up so your grips don't get wet. It's muddy. It's usually hot and muddy and wet in Texas. I will play when it's cart path only, and I feel like I at least get somewhat of a workout in, but definitely a bummer when you get to the first tee. Cart path only signs up. Sometimes there are times where I'd rather walk than it be cart path only. Um,
Yes.
I just feel like it's easier, especially when you're sharing a cart with someone too, and it's like blasted in the trees. And it's like, I guess I'll bring half my bag, or I'll just take my bag with me. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Cart path only.
Yeah. I'm with you. Honestly, if it's car path only and there's not long walks in between holes, I'll 1 billion% walk actually. Because I
Yeah.
think you're actually going to walk more in a weird way if you go car path only sometimes, especially to your point if it's really soggy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so to that point, number three for me, how about just rain on the golf course? When you get caught in a rainstorm on the golf course,
Yeah.
I don't like it. Now, fun times have come from that. If you're stuck in like a tunnel and you got nothing to do with drink. But T-Bone, we've been stuck on the golf course multiple times where it'd be raining. Remember on the 4th of July tournament we played on? It literally started flooding on the golf course and we got
Oh
stuck out
man.
there. And that whole
That
day
was
just turned into an absolute scene.
oh man, that was quite the day with I think KJ tried to kill us.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. KJ and Double.
Literally tried to kill us. But no, that was the worst. Especially when you're out there and yeah, excited to play and
Oh man, if it's that first
flooded or
time you've been out there in 2 months, you're so excited. You got a fresh new glove, you got a fresh new sleeve of balls. You get 3 holes in and then just torrential downpour. Just
yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
sucks.
I feel you on that. Yeah, it's not fun. All right. Number four, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna be a little specific. Cheating, but cheating scramble teams.
Ooh.
Someone comes in with a 49 or a 48, and they've got a size 42 waist and a Nike Sasquatch in the bag. They're coming in. They say, I got a We shout 48, or they're waiting by the scoring table to see what everyone turns in. Cypresswood, I feel like, had great scramble tournaments, and they're fucking ruined. Cypress would also try and do 2 scrambles play together where you have 8 people playing in a group.
Oh,
Goes back to my number one, a slow play. Shit, this should have been higher on the list. But cheating scramble teams it's almost ruined scrambles for me because everyone cheats now. So cheating scramble teams.
that's a really good one, T-Bone. Yeah, because we have been the victim of that at the Cypresswood tournaments. And look, they're still fun. But yeah, we've literally seen the group wait for us, see what score we turn in. We'll turn in like a 52 or something like that, 53. And then it's just always one shot lower. And like I think Kyle was ready to fight somebody again. And we were like,
Yeah,
hey,
I was gonna say KJ cannot come with his
no.
cheating scramble. That would be number one on his list by a mile. And then KJ always likes to, if I remember correctly, likes to play them after. He's like, play extra holes with us.
Yep, that's exactly right.
What a psychopath. But I feel you got to justify the win. So
yeah. Okay, T-Bone, for my 4th pick, I'm going to go with when you hit yourself in the ankle with your putter or a wedge. That is just the worst. Your ankle starts tingling, your foot goes numb for a sec too, and it leaves a bruise for a few days. Just a little thing, but man, it is, and you can't walk for a sec. You feel like such a clumsy idiot whenever that happens. So that's why that's got to be number 4 for me. Whenever you accidentally bang your ankle with either a wedge or a putter.
Yep. Every golfer's done it. It's not a fun one.
No.
Like it. All right. Wrap it up. Take it home. Number 5. I'm going to go golfers not yelling 4. Standing on a tee box, you get one land right between your legs. And this is playing at Herman and being on the Muni circuit. This is one I come across a lot. My favorite thing is they just play dumb. Like people are scared that they hit into you. And then they just like looking around or they won't come get the ball. And it's like, I know it was you. And a little tip for the listeners, what I do. So when you hit a shot where you have to yell 4, it's probably a bad shot. So what I do is yell 4 out of rage. Yell 4. I do it out of rage. Gives me an excuse to scream on the golf course. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. So yeah, people not yelling 4 on the golf course.
Or even like 4 right. I kind of like I think you need to say what direction you're in too. Maybe it doesn't help necessarily those who are like the ball's going to. You just yell 4 when you get down.
Users at Herman. You're lucky to get anything out there.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. So okay, I think that's a pretty solid list here, T-Bone. Number 5, if you call a penalty shot here, then, or if you call a foul, then I understand. Yep. But I'm gonna say if ever you're playing with somebody, maybe it's the first few times, or maybe if you're paired with somebody you don't know, and if they're shooting 120, but they hit every single 120 of those shots through the hole.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, can you? It's more if you're playing with somebody who can't keep up and you feel like you're dragging them along. That really kind of does bother me.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't care if you suck. I'm glad you're there. So I'm not articulating this very well, but I think you're understanding what I'm saying.
Bad golfers who don't pick up when they need to.
Yes, thank you for articulating that.
I've played with people and they're like, I need to count it for my score. Score doesn't matter for you. Take an 8. Let's go.
What's the difference between a 9 or an 8? Or an 8 or a 7 at that point? Anything that's a triple bogey, like just pick up and let's go.
Yeah.
Like
triple max or let's play high school NIL rules 9. Get out of there. No, I hate that.
9? We always play double par.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like on a par 3, 6 is the highest score you can make. Yep. The par 5s are tough though, because that's what brought 10 into play. But it's especially in the private school golf circuit in high school Texas. It's not the good players are good, but there's not the depth of players that the public schools have, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
But because look, again, like especially the kind of the older I get, a lot of people are wanting to get into golf who didn't grow up playing, whether it be for work purposes or just want to find a new hobby. And I think sometimes they're scared to go out with players like us, which is fine. I get it. I'm uncomfortable if I go hunting with somebody who's a big time hunter because I'm not a big hunter, even though I'd like to
Yeah.
be. But I'm scared to go out sometimes to if I want to go. I'm not singling anybody out, Harrington. But I'm just kidding. Maybe I'll cut that part. I don't know. But it doesn't matter which one of them, all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm welcome to take anybody golfing with me. I really am. But and that's one thing I really appreciate about our friend D-Buck. He realized like pretty early on, he's like, hey man, if I spray it twice in the woods, like I'm just gonna pick up and I'll go drop by you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. I've played where people they think they need a legit score. I I get it, but you got to keep up.
Yeah.
Um, Jumping to honorable mentions, which is very similar, and I think you need to tell a quick story because I think you've been a victim of this.
Oh
And
no.
another one I wanted to include was when you're with a bad golfer and they ask to hit your driver.
Yeah. I told the story the other day actually to somebody.
Really?
So I don't know if it's the story you're looking for, but this is the
I'm
story I'm
sure
going
I
with.
think it is. I think it is.
In high school when my driver
Yeah.
broke. Okay, so yeah, it's a high school. I'm going out with one of my buddies who plays on the baseball team. Kind of been bitten by the golf bug a little bit. And it's in March around spring break ish or just after spring break. We go to Memorial Park. He's like, hey, Scott, can I hit your driver? And I was like, sure. He proceeds to hit my driver, but the club head went farther than the ball. And it was 3 days before districts. It was 3 days before the district championship senior year. It's like, man, I've been waiting 4 years for this. We had won district before, but we're like, we got our eyes on a state championship. And my friend just swung the driver, and the driver head went right in the middle of the driving range at Memorial Park. He just looked at me like, oh, shit. Like, he
Uh,
felt really bad, and I get that. But follow up to that, Seabone, we went to Top Golf in college too when he was back home for the summer and I was around, and he broke my driver again. He
I didn't
broke
know that.
he broke two of my drivers.
Oh, geez. Oh, man. Yeah, it's always a gamble when you have someone step up there. If I'm feeling, I mean, my driver's old now, but I'll still tee it super low, and I'm just like hesitant. But that's one that always bothers me. Um, a few others on the list. I'm surprised
Yeah.
you didn't touch on. So I know you hate this one. Iron covers.
I thought that was kind of given though. It's like the
Yeah,
double gloves,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I was
Not,
viewing more of like things that happen on the golf course or something like that, not necessarily apparel. Like I hate Wilson golf balls as well. Sorry, Garza.
yeah,
Sorry, Lopez. But no, yeah, that does bother me a little bit. One that I thought of, like worst thing that happens on the course is when it's cold and you thin one, and that sends that shiver up your hands all the way through
yeah.
your bones. Oh, that sucks.
Honestly, golf under like 50, 55 is kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a really specific one that bothers the hell out of
Okay.
me. I don't know why this has become a thing. Um, when you have mediocre, usually shitty golfers giving advice to even worse golfers,
Oh,
and their advice is keep your head down. Have you
I
seen that?
I saw that.
Everyone says that.
I saw that yesterday.
Really?
Is look, when
Everyone
you go to
says that.
Memorial Park, you see so many people trying to give swing advice to so many different other people, and it's like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about.
And I love when they'll say keep your head down and it'll show someone swinging and it's like they're hitting a putt. So they'll be like a driver swing and it'll be like and it's I mean, they just have no idea what they're doing. Anytime someone says that, I want to say, Go look at videos of Annika Sorenstam or Henrik Stenson hitting the golf ball.
Ooh,
Their heads this way at impact.
yeah.
And they just have, there's so many other issues, and it's not a, I just don't get it. Everyone thinks, oh man, it drives me crazy. Um,
I got one more.
Yeah, yeah.
I got one more. Whenever you're letting somebody play through and they take their time playing through,
Yeah.
it's not even
Oh, yeah.
necessarily if you spray one into the woods or something like that, but if that happens and you throw down a second ball, I'm like, you got to be kidding me,
They
dude.
should be stepping on it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you are playing through somebody, you get through that hole as quickly as you can. Do not take your sweet ass time, and I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, that's a bad one. Kind of more pro golf fans. I hate mashed potatoes. Um, Baba Booey, anything that's been overkilled like that, it's just not funny anymore.
Getting the hole
Um,
guy.
yeah, getting the hole on a par five, it just yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I think another very vague one, just like golf dads that are just like super controlling and like wanting to be the caddy and swing coach and commissioner of the just we've seen it all. We've seen it all out there.
we have. Yeah, that's what do you think about the guy? Like if you accidentally knock the tee off the tee and you go
Oh,
hitting
yeah,
three.
yeah.
I'm
That's
that guy
funny.
sometimes.
Yeah,
It's all about the delivery.
yeah. Um, Another one that I don't necessarily love, I think it's a sign that you're kind of a hack, is if you step out of the bunker and you just walk onto the green, just leaving footprints, sandy
Oh
footprints.
yeah, I do hate that.
You don't knock the sand off your cleats. You look like a badass if you do it. Just do a little knock on each cleat. Recommend that. Um, yeah, that's pretty annoying.
I think I've been quoted on the podcast before saying that that's what bothered me the most
Yeah,
about
yeah, I think
golf.
you have.
Yeah, I don't know if that still does, but it's definitely at least honorable mention. I would say I don't know
Yeah.
why that got to me that week. I was just like, I think I had just seen it everywhere and it was the worst. And but yeah, it's just more like yeah, it's like a batter getting into the batter's box. Knock the feet off. You look good. You feel good, right? And you can go.
Yep,
You're gonna make that putt now. I don't care if it's
yep,
40 feet away. You're gonna make that putt.
for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Um, any others?
Well, if we missed one, let us know in the comments
Yeah, let
below.
us
Send us
know.
an email. Follow us on our social media channels. Shoot us DMs at 300 per pod. Number three, 300 per pod on Twitter and Instagram. T-Bone, there's one other thing I want to bring up before we get out of here. Okay. Did you see who won the Corn Ferry event this week?
It did.
Yes, Spencer Levin. He
Levine,
Monday Levin
Levine,
Levine Spencer Levine. Excuse me, Spencer Levine.
18
He
years,
Monday
17.
qualified.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What? What I miss?
No, no, no. I was just I jumped the gun.
Okay. So he Monday qualified for the Veritex Bank Championship in Arlington, Texas, and he won. Gets full status for the rest of the year. Really awesome story. But I wanted to bring up, did you see his putting stroke?
Yeah, it's wild.
It looks like he literally is Happy Gilmore out there with a putter. Oh, as soon as I saw that he won, I was like, that guy won? But hey, look, as long as you get the ball the hole, who cares?
I think he said he found it in his dad's garage and he got it like reshafted and put that like two-hand grip on it. And yeah, he just goes full happy. But the I want to say he's been on tour for 17 years on and off the PGA tour, 17, 18 years. He's never won.
Mm,
First win as a professional golfer. Um,
crazy.
that guy, that guy has some character. There are some wild clips of him like punting his hat, um, just like yelling at the golf ball. I remember one time he's also a tour visor enthusiast, or at least he was back in the day. There
Perfect.
was I want to say he actually doesn't have a cell phone either. I weirdly know a lot about this guy, but I'll never
Wow.
forget. I watched him. It was I want to say it was the Waste Management, like probably 10 to 15 years ago. And the guy was just ripping heaters like every hole. Every hole. Ended up losing the tournament. But I remember I watched like the entire tournament. They kept talking about him. But super interesting dude. It's good to see him win. But if you don't know who this guy is, look him up. And as Scotty T said, definitely look up his putting stroke and putter because it's insane.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm looking at this article here, and apparently, so yeah, financially got him 180K, moves him up to 11 in the Corn Ferry standings, and so which means he has a great chance, and we'll see the scrappy dude from Sacramento back on the big tour. Though it should be noted, he has quit smoking. So maybe that's why he won. He quit. He quit. He quit blasting heaters out on the course.
And Daly would be disappointed.
Yeah, no, he really would. Well, Scaff, I think that about wraps it up for this episode of the 300 Par Pod. Do you have anything else that you'd like to bring up for the good people here?
I think we nailed it. I felt a lot of passion come out of that top five. Got me almost kind of angry because it just made me realize how many things and people I hate on the golf course. But I want to feel that again. So keep the top five suggestions coming in, and we'll keep delivering.
Absolutely. Kind of got the blood boiling a little bit. So yeah,
Try
hey, we
try out
appreciate.
the four trick. If you hit a bad shot, yell four at the top of your lungs at the golf course. Relieve some anger. Notifies the other golfers.
Yeah, and then go take a shot. Always takes the edge off.
Yep. Yep.
Or shotgun a beer or anything else, or drink some water if you want. But that sounds lame. But all right, everybody. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. Before we get out of here, follow us on our social media channels at 300 Par Pod. Number 300 Par Pod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, subscribe, rate, and review. Comment below what you thought of Matthew Fitzpatrick win this week at the terrible name of RBC Heritage, but still a great win. And let us know what irks you on the golf course, because we love to hear from you, because I'm sure there's something that we missed. But I think that wraps it up for this episode. T-Bone, thank you for tonight. We appreciate you, the listenership. I'm Scotty T for T-Bone, and remember,
Little white ball is life.